Hi, my name is Dean Waldorf, and I chose Google as my company. All right, so to kick things off about Google, if you look them up on the stock market, you'll actually see them listed under their parent company name Alphabet. They got their start back in 1998 as a college dorm room project by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Right from the beginning, their mission statement was to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Obviously, we all know them for research or maybe even our Google Pixel Android phones, but they've grown into a massive tech giant. When you look at how they actually bring in cash, digital advertising is still the absolute powerhouse of their business model. Basically, whenever you click a sponsored link on a search page or sit through an ad on YouTube, you're driving their core revenue. That said, they've also been branching out a lot lately into subscription models, pixel hardware, and enterprise cloud tech. When it comes to the industry, Google is right at the center of the big tech and AI world. Now, if we're just talking about search, they practically own the market with over 90% share globally. But that doesn't mean that they can just coast. They're facing some incredibly aggressive competition across the board. For instance, Google Cloud is constantly fighting to catch up with Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure. On top of that, Amazon has been taking a bigger bite out of the digital ad space and OpenAI and Microsoft's Bing and trying to completely reinvent how people look up information using AI. But Google's secret weapon is their sheer scale. They have over 15 different products that serve more than 500,000,000 users each, which creates an ecosystem and a data feedback loop that competitors just can't easily replicate. Next, let's look at who's running the show and how the company is set up. The man in charge is CEO Sundar Pichai, who's been leading Google since 2015 and took over the whole Alphabet parent company in 2019. His main strategic goal has been pivoting the entire business to be AI driven first. To manage everything, Alphabet uses a matrix structure that splits the business into two distant buckets. You have Google Services, which is a massive moneymaker that holds search, YouTube, and cloud. Then you have other bets, which are their futuristic, high-risk projects like Waymo self-driving cars, which you might see if you've been, driving anywhere, especially downtown San Francisco. Culturally, Google used to be a famous player for super laid back with crazy employee perks and a lot of experimentation. But because AI infrastructure is so expensive to build, leadership has really tightened the belt recently, pushing for strict efficiency and financial discipline. Financial performance over the last 5 years. So, because the numbers are honestly pretty wild, Alphabet is a total cash machine. They've actually crossed over $400 billion in annual revenue for the first time ever in 2025. What's really been impressive is that as they grow, they've kept a super high operating profit margin of around 32%. If you look at the trends over the last few years, ads are still their baseline, but Google Cloud has absolutely taken off and is now operating at a massive $70 billion annual run rate. They have an insane cushion of cash on hand, but investors are keeping a close eye on their spending. Because building our next gen AI takes so much horsepower, Google is pouring tens of billions of dollars a year into massive data centers and designing their own AI silicon chips called TPUs. Looking ahead at the next Looking ahead at the next 5 years, Google's future really boils down on two major things. First, which they call an agentic AI era. Instead of just typing questions in a chat bot, they want their Gemini AI model to act like an actual personal assistant that can handle complex tasks for you, like planning a whole multi-city vacation or automating work databases. Second, we're starting to see a real commercial growth from Waymo, their self-driving car division, as it rolls out its mainstream ride service into more and more cities. However, it's definitely not a guaranteed win. They're facing some massive headwinds, specifically from the government. There are major antitrust lawsuits going on right now that could literally threaten to break up parts of the company. Plus, running all these AI servers requires a crazy amount of electricity, which creates huge energy challenges. So, while their tech is incredible, how they've handled these legal and regulatory battles will decide their success over the next 5 years. Here are my references, and thank you for listening.